This is the latest edition of Front Up, and I'm Whitey Willauer, and I've got a great guest today, and Kuzpa. Have I pronounced that right?
Yes,
Kuzpa?
you have, yes.
Okay.
Kuzpa.
And you're Executive Director of Housing Nantucket?
That's right.
And you're also Chairman of the Energy Committee?
Yes.
Do you have any other hats that you wear besides being a mother?
At the moment, no. I don't think so.
Matter of fact, I think you've had while you've been with the Energy Committee, you've had 2 children.
That's right.
And you brought them in and they participated. And
yes.
we're educating them and such. That's great. Tell me a little bit about Housing Nantucket and how you fit into the overall housing situation on the island.
Well, Housing Nantucket is a 501c3 nonprofit. We're private.
Tax exempt.
Yes, tax exempt. And our formal name is NHA Properties, Inc.
Oh.
And that looks back to our origins, which are with the Nantucket Housing Authority. Nantucket Housing Authority has state and federally subsidized housing for low income, and Housing Nantucket, our income bracket that we serve is moderate income families. So that is up to 150% of the median family income for Nantucket, which is about $135,000 for this year. So our income bracket is about $60,000 to about $135,000. That's
now, where do you get the houses? I mean, where do they come from?
Our houses have been donated to our organization, and we move them from the donor's property to land that we own, and then we are able to rent them out affordably.
Now, the land that you own, where do you get the land that you own?
We were given the land via the RFP process. That's the request for proposal process by the town. So the town of Nantucket will put out an RFP for affordable housing entities to respond to, and we'll respond to that. And we were awarded a lot of land that way.
Individual property by property?
Right, they're scattered about the island, which we think is a better way to deal with this issue by scattering these houses around the island. So that we have properties in Tom Nevers and Surfside, we have them in Mid-Island, so just all over the place. And so it's not clusters of housing. The Housing Authority is clustered at the Manta Drive, My Comet Village area, but our housing is, we have some there, but we also have it in many different other
How many
areas.
houses do you have?
We have 27.
27. And do they all pay rent? Or?
No, actually, they don't all pay rent. We are dealing with that right now. Our leases.
But they should pay rent.
They should.
Okay.
Yes. But we need to come down on people who don't pay their rent, as hard as that is. But, you know, this is something that people need to pay their rent because our organization needs those funds to sustain itself. Our buildings are older. We need to maintain these buildings. We aren't trying to be slumlords in any way. You know, we want our structures to be sound. We want it to be quality living for Nantucket residents, year-rounders.
Do you maintain the grounds around the properties?
No, we don't. That's the responsibility of the tenants.
And how about painting them and things like that?
Yes, we do that.
You do
Yes.
that? Maintaining the building?
Yes.
Now, how much rent do you charge?
Well, for a 2-bedroom, we charge around $1,300.
Yeah.
But some of our houses are scaled according to what people's income are. So they could be a little less or more than that. But the highest that we'll charge is about $1,600 for, we have one for a 4-bedroom for that amount.
So you collect around $350,000 a month?
A year.
A year?
Yes.
Oh, I thought, no, wait a minute. You got 26 houses.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay. My multiplication was off.
That's okay.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, so that's our rent. Our rent roll is about $350,000 a year. And we also receive grant funding from grants that we've requested and been awarded. Our most significant grant funder is the Community Preservation Commission, and they help us to maintain our buildings.
Yeah, and now what do you do if I don't pay my rent? How do you come after me?
It's very hard because a lot of our tenants are, you know, single moms or the town employees, you know, people who are real integral to the community. But what we'll do is we try to refer you to the rental assistance program. So that's our first stop. So you would go there, and if your case was deemed needy, then they would help you out with up to, I think it's $1,800 for every, or maybe it's more than that, maybe about $2,000 for every 18 months period. So that's first stop. Second, if say you missed March or April, this is kind of common for people because they're seasonal employees. So then if someone is able to keep current with the one, you know, month to month, say they missed March and April, then May they're able to pay, June they're able to pay, but they are having trouble catching up with March and April, then we'll set up a payment plan. Really, we're very flexible as far as the payment plan is concerned, as long as someone is consistent with it, you know, $200 a month if they can afford. So then they'll just chip away at their balance, but as long as they keep paying, then that's okay with us.
Do you evict people?
Yes, we do.
You do?
Because it's not fair. I mean, if one of our units isn't paying, 26 other people are busting their butts to pay. And it's just not fair to let those people stay in the house and, you know, and reside there for free. And that's not something we'll tolerate. But we are very lenient. You know, as I said, we want to work with people. So it gets to a point. We give them a lot of notice beforehand, too. You know, your lease is in eviction status. You have X amount of time to get this up to date or set up a payment program, and if they don't adhere to that, then we have to move them along.
And do you get many people offering you houses?
We have, you know, not all houses that are offered to us can be accepted by us. We have lead paint standards that we can't accept houses that have lead paint, and that's something that we've learned through experience. We've accepted lead paint houses that contain that paint, and then we have to do a lot of remediation, which is expensive. But we also have a program, a house donation program, where if someone wants to donate a house to our organization and we don't have a need for it, if we don't have land or whatever, then we are able to sell it to another party, and then we can get those funds to help us with our organization. And then someone else who needs a house is able to move that house from a donor's property to their property.
So you've got expenses, you've got payroll expenses, and you've got maintenance expenses.
Yes.
And how do you break even?
We in the past we have not, but that since I've taken the helm here, we are breaking even and even making a little money to pay off some of our debts. Good,
good. Now, let me ask you about your other hat that you wear, Energy Committee Chair. What does that entail?
Oh, well, we have a lot of projects the Energy Committee is looking at right now. We have solar projects, wind projects. We have metering issues that we're trying to address. So it entails trying to stay on top of everything, organizing it, assigning people to head these subcommittees, and making sure that we are following up on any leads that we get. And really, that's it. Putting out that, you know, we have to have our monthly meeting first Thursday of the month, which is an open meeting that anybody can attend, and we really do welcome members of the public to that.
Now, how about conservation? Are you doing anything on that?
As far as energy conservation?
Yes.
Well, National Grid has energy conservation programs. We have a energy plan, Nantucket Energy Plan, that the town as well as the planning office is working together. We're working together to try to figure out where are our biggest places where we can target so that we can conserve as much energy with the least amount of expense.
Now, how about, I hear a lot about smart grid.
Yes.
What's that?
Smart grid is a mechanism in which the electric grid receives signals from a motherboard or, you know, mother station that when power prices have gone higher or there's some kind of problem on the electric system, that other, you know, residents or industrial users can receive signals from the motherboard to trim down their load. Like, say, if a person was running their laundry and they had a smart grid, then the laundry would not be running in a time of peak demand. So the electric grid could control that and send a signal to that to back off, and maybe 8 hours later in the middle of the night, then the laundry could be run. Or it's that idea.
It's okay. It's balancing the load with the consumption.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the idea also is to the fuel that the electric company is using at that time, they would be able to back off of expensive, polluting fuel sources like oil or coal, or something like that, and mostly oil. But they would be able to back off there, and they wouldn't have to get into those units. They could use cheaper fuels.
Yeah, my ratty little mind says, okay, if we put solar arrays out at the wastewater treatment plant, that's only generating power during the day. Could we switch them to being processing the sewerage during the day and not processing at night? Would that be a smart metering solution?
It could be.
Yeah. I was just beginning to think these things. So anyway, it's been good having you here.
Well, thank you, Whitey.
And you've done a marvelous job with both of your organizations.
Thank you.